Sorted out. These guys are ready and raring to go. You can hear the crowd. They are ready as well. And we'll see what the coaches and the teams have pit against each other here in Game 2. Lissandra Morgana will get banned. A few of those lockdown champions. The Rumble's also seeing quite a few bans here, especially against Impact. Going to be very good at that in the top lane. So he pretty much gets 2 bans towards him here to start this one off.
Yeah, definitely. He's been really outspoken about using that top lane Morgana. And one of the big things he said why he used it was because of the surprise factor.
Yeah, nobody had.
Yeah, surprise factor is gone.
Why not?
So Impact focused with 2 bans here. Now he has as well risen up the solo queue ladder really quickly since coming over. I think he's up at like number 3 right now in North American Challenger.
Doesn't suck.
And he's only been here for a few weeks. Impressive.
Very. Sivir, like we said, Lissandra, banning that out against maplestreet. Haven't actually seen him take that too many times. Maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah, the Lulu actually as well I think could be considered an impact ban because he has used it in the top lane. But as we mentioned, XiaoWeiXiao was the one at the helm there last week with the Lulu. Haven't been
not impressed, but I'm not liking the Lulus in the mid lane. It always
really?
the kills are walking away with like 100 HP. You'll see it in all the highlights all over the place. XiaoWeiXiao was able to lock it down. He was able to find those kills when they got ahead. But the killers in the mid lane, those assassins, that's what I like to see.
Yeah, well, top lane, though, is the thing that's getting focused right now. We got so many top lane bans. Gnar and Maokai are really the 2 that are left up right now, so big tanks
maybe
probably in the cards here for both teams coming from the top lane.
I'm saying there could be a CaliTrolz, but it's a Rek'Sai. I actually thought that was Jax at first. I was going to go crazy. It is not. He is a she, and Rek'Sai will get picked up by a teammate to start this one off. And they said that Maokai would probably be floating around in this game, and it may be a Corki as well for Apollo.
Yeah, Maokai the more reliable, of course, we've already been over, of the top lane tanks there. So jumping on that pick really quickly. And the Corki, really high priority. Everyone nowadays really wants to work with a lot of mid-game. So Corki, pretty big focus as of late.
LeBlanc is possibly pickable here. They did hover on it. I wouldn't see why they'd give it over. XiaoWeiXiao definitely loves himself some LeBlanc. Let's see what the coach has to say. Matt Schmeider for Team 8. Calling out some shots. Graves has been a big pickup for maplestreet. He's able to really clean up fights with this. We don't know him to be one to kind of quick draw into a fight, be the one to make plays like a Forgiven, but he does know how to position on the outside of the fight. If he's had a good game, he'll get those cleanup kills.
It's also a really good champion for teammate style where they like to have those 5 versus 5 and have a big burst. He's got a lot of area of effect damage as far as AD carries are concerned. This is probably a top lane Fizz, probably for CaliTrolz. Yeah. We've already seen Quas use it up there, the AD build, and try and bully some of the more squishy top laners. We'll see if Fizz can have the same effect against Maokai. A lot of that will depend on the level 1 early starts as well. We'll see if teammate put any effort into stopping Maokai as far as the level 1 camp is concerned. Veigar did get through the ban phase. An extremely powerful support right now. A lot of zone control.
Haven't been seeing too much Janna through the past few days, but we do get ourselves a Janna locked in.
I really like Janna now versus the AD Fizz because AD Fizz takes a lot longer to kill someone. AD Fizz is not the same as the old AP Bursty. Just blow up one target before Janna can react. AD Fizz is a bruiser in the back line that takes a while to get his work done. So Janna is effective peel for Corki in this scenario.
Keeping Apollo safe. He'll also have his Valkyrie to get away, but the extra shield damage and Monsoon will help for sure. Seeing what teammate will round this out with. Definitely getting calls from Matt on the headset from the coach. He is having a last say on this, looking down the line towards maplestreet and Dodo. They're having some fun hovers as they look at the composition of Impulse. What are we seeing here, and what kind of you think would be a good pick?
I think they might need some more sustained damage here for teammate. Looks like they are going to take away the LeBlanc, though, from XiaoWeiXiao. Kassadin is still up. We have not moved into the new patch where his Rift Walk was the range was taken down so significantly. So Kassadin, viable matchup here versus LeBlanc in the mid lane for XiaoWeiXiao, still available. We've seen him, though, pull out so many different champions in the mid lane. This would add a lot more poke.
I'm ready for it.
This would double down on their Corki mid-game poke, because even with just one item, Nidalee can bring a lot of pressure in the mid-game sieges. Try and get the first and second rings. Second ring's obviously much more difficult with the shields.
Double AD once again could be what the deal is. He played this back in week 4 versus Winter Fox.
So they want to prey on the fact that Team 8 don't have very easy wave clear. So this mid-game spike of the double ADs, they want to start knocking down turrets. Pretty good job of Team Impulse waiting till their last pick, utilizing this red side counter pick opportunity. And Team 8, all of their wave clear really forces them to put those champions in vulnerable positions. Fizz and LeBlanc have to get right next to the minions to use their AoE on wave clear. So it's going to be a lot up to maplestreet, and he might go with the static shiv instead of the ghost blade, as
to help them
a lot of Graves
supplement a little bit more wave clear coming in for Team 8. We'll have to see. Champions are locked and loaded. We're about to get ready to get on to the Rift. We'll see if Impulse can get another win. Team 8 is looking to tie this one up and get some revenge. We're in the second half of the split. It's got to happen now. Coach's final words here from Matt. I'll meet up with Fly in the middle. And we're about to get underway. These guys have been waiting to play all morning long, and they are about to get into the matchup. Make sure you guys get yourself over to Twitter and get the votes going down. Prediction tweeting at LOL Esports, and use the hashtag Team8Win or hashtag TIPWin, and we'll update the poll shortly and throughout the game. Remember, you can vote more than once, and we'll keep that coming up throughout the game as well. The crowd is ready. We are ready. Hi, everyone. How's it going? And we're about to get into this match. It's Team 8 versus Team Impulse, and we are going to be on the Rift.
All right. Yeah, I think that Team Impulse have the advantage as far as coming out of the pick bans phase here. Team 8, they do have assassination potential, but their hard CC is really hard to get off. And it's going to be difficult for them to get through this Maokai front line.
That's right. And Team 8 put a lot of stock in CaliTrolz for Team Impulse. They say it's the mid laner who is the real threat.
I think the player to watch out for is Slooshi. He's like the real card. That Cali's like okay, but like Slooshi is like the really consistent one that has the most pull on the team. He's a very solid mid laner. He has like really strong pull, and like he can make plays. Like he's always doing the right thing at the right time.
Well, he did get the LeBlanc again and had a lot of success on that versus ManCloud. However, XiaoWeiXiao with the Ezreal, a much more difficult matchup here than previously experienced by Slooshi.
Now, knowing that things sound like they're going to go well for the composition Impulse put together, what could go wrong for them if they fail to kind of achieve their goal?
What could go wrong is Slooshi and Cali get fed early and can assassinate AD carries before Impulse are grouping up with Janna and before they can set up their front line. CaliTrolz on Fizz does have the potential to bully the lane versus Maokai and get ahead and try and utilize a split push with the Fizz. And this is, this may be one of those games where Team 8 do have a big presence from CaliTrolz, and he can take over the game. Big spike there for Fizz once he gets a Trinity Force, so we'll have to watch that as well. Also, as we saw last week, LeBlanc, Slooshi can take over a games and start roaming around.
We'll see how quick he gets to doing that. XiaoWeiXiao may be able to follow just as fast if they do start that rotation. We'll also keep an eye on XiaoWeiXiao's farm to see if that puts him over Slooshi. A little bit of roam still coming in from Adrian. He's going to get some more wards in to keep this 2v1 extra safe for the time being.
Yeah, interesting deep wards here. Since they started on their own red side, they're going to continue the double jungle. And it looks like both sides are freezing right now. So it should be a calm double jungle for both sides, pretty much exactly mirrored Teammate actually on the bottom side have lost control of their freeze, so they're going to start pushing now. So Teammate are going to look for earlier tower damage, whereas Impulse are keeping the wave frozen up top, and it's pushing against Apollo. Teammate here, they're going to press up and try and get the turret down early.
See if they can get some more deep wards in. That also puts them closer to Porpoise here, so they could have helped him, and he can also now help them get a little bit of damage on the turret if necessary. CaliTrolz also hanging out. Looks like they're just going to do this one safely without showing too many people as well. I think that's big here. But they actually did see Porpoise. They got the pings coming in from Impulse there.
Now,
ward over the
Impulse
wall.
have to be fairly careful as they approach this turret. Stick together as a group because they have zero vision in that jungle. Even though nobody from Teammate is waiting there, the possibility is there. So they have to be very careful. You can see they're trying to ward up as they move in and keep everybody as a three-man group to try and get in under this turret. Half damage was taken off of that turret in that time, though. Meanwhile, up top, Apollo still managing the frozen wave, pruning it nicely in front of his turret.
Whew. Hot tamales. XiaoWeiXiao not liking that. He has full consumables, though. He's good. He can just tip him back.
Oh, yeah. He actually did not go for the Doran's Blade start and go for the spamming abilities on the wave to try and shove.
Just as they die. Watching him farm is incredible. Getting good shots there, missing shots, trading back and forth. They keep it pretty even in the mid lane, 30-28. And we'll see. Rush did spend a little bit of time down in the bottom lane, and he didn't get much out of his bottom jungle because Porpoise had just taken it. So he's back to the top side now, and Porpoise kind of knows where he is.
Also, the big difference here is that because of the shove down bottom, maplestreet did not get nearly as many last hits as Apollo. And because they were not able to take the turret all the way down, he's really behind in the matchup, just going to the lane. However, Apollo hasn't gone back to base to buy. So as far as combat effectiveness in that lane.
Slooshi dodging the flag and drag, but does he have enough to stay in with the rest of the team? That's going to be a nice kill coming up from Slooshi. Can they hit XiaoWeiXiao as well? The pop-up happened as the arcane shifted, but he is going to be able to get out, and XiaoWeiXiao wants to trade back as much as possible. They called Dodo off of that as well.
Yeah, right as the lanes go back to normal setup, we get a counter gank in the mid lane. PorpoisePops comes up big, and they're already setting up Slooshi to succeed once again. First blood for the LeBlanc. Now XiaoWeiXiao is really going to have to worry about that assassination from Slooshi just in lane. And we'll see what Slooshi can do with this if he starts to roam up and down, because they've already established really good deep vision control during the lane swap. Teammate, that is, inside the red buff jungle of Impulse. So they have the vision to work with.
Nice catch. The trade back. Fozzbomb actually hits both of them, which trades nicely in the damage. Porpoise actually on the wing here, but he was seen out, so they may not be able to get the full kill they want.
Yeah, and remember, Apollo still hasn't bought yet. The extra Doran's Blade there, even though he was leveled down, maplestreet able to get a good chunk. And now they want to pressure a second turret.
Nicely done.
Now, these are not just for the annoyance factor. You gain a lot of pressure in the early game by stopping the recalls on especially side lane players. Delaying the back from Apollo is huge, and Porpoise just earned his team plenty of pressure up top.
Look at this. He's level 4 to a level 5, and they just have so much control over what's happening. They can easily do this.
They even forced out the teleport in here from Impact up to try and save that top lane and soak up some of the experience. Swap back down bottom there for Corki.
Good movements by Teammate. Hopefully they can keep it up. They don't get themselves in too much of a crazy position. You can see Porpoise talking to QC, getting everything righted up. So great early game from him. This lane swap back, seeing that they matched up. The pressure could have been mid lane. He read that gank coming in from Rush on Jarvan. Able to get the first blood over onto him. Nicely done. See what he can work with that. He did get the assist there, and they got the kill to Slooshi. That's what the point was, that they get him going again on LeBlanc. So going to be tough for Impulse to react. We'll see if they can put anything into their favor in possibly the next dragon fight.
Yeah, I mean, in that gank as well, Rush came from their weak side. So going past the ward, and it was just a really good job of PorpoisePops getting in position for the counter gank. If Jarvan uses EQ to get into lane and doesn't even land, then that 2 versus 2 is easily going to go to the counter ganker. So really good early game here. Start for Team 8. And we'll see what Slooshi can do with it if he gets to start roaming on that LeBlanc to try and influence side lanes.
Just waiting on Porpoise's mouse fix. Not feeling as smooth as it could, so we're going to get that fixed up so we can get back in a game. You know how odd it feels when you're just not clicking correctly. It's a little frustrating.
Mouse, probably one of the most important tools.
Yeah, absolutely.
Technically, you can play the game with just a mouse, although I do not advise it.
Got to get that APM up, baby. All the points. So a win for Team 8 here would put them 5 and 6 on the split, which is very nicely sitting in the middle. A lot of teams are trying to break out of that pack, so it puts them in the running for a lot of things.
Yeah, all the teams that are tied for fourth place right now are all sitting at 5 and 5, so very, very close. Team 8 could move up within striking distance.
Not a problem. They have the playmakers. They have apparently a few things we haven't seen from them. Obviously, we saw, I said, Quas playing the Fizz, but we'll see how they work it here. Looks like we may be just about ready to get back into game shortly as they get Porpoise fixed up. Cali waving to the fans, taking a bit of time to themselves. Now, obviously, they can't talk, but they can still enjoy themselves.
Yes, they can. As can the crowd. Nice calm start to the weekend here, actually, for LCS.
Yeah.
Very calm opening to the last game, and this game as well.
Absolutely. So we'll see if Impulse can kind of react to this. With the double AD comp, they took a hit on Rush. What's Rush's next goal? He's been kind of just hit in the jungle constantly. What's his safest bet to do next? Is it kind of camp lane or just farm his face?
Well, the thing is, I think the next bet is he's definitely got to get Raptor buff before he goes for a gank.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
So that he knows if he's walking over some wards, and he's going to get counter ganked like that. Raptor buff, probably the most important of these small camp buffs for junglers to grab. There's one of the hand warmers. Slooshi's still working it. Especially when playing LeBlanc, you got to keep your fingers ready for that combo. Without the silence, got to be much quicker than before.
Looks like we got the confirmation. That's the head nod, the affirming head nod.
Man, well, now I have to go to the bathroom though.
Just go, Kobe. Just go.
Drinking a lot of water. It's so hot.
There's CaliTrolz, the man on Fizz this game. Looking to do a little bit of carrying for the team. Was that a wink? I think he just subliminally winked at us. Something's fishy there.
Ha 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 ha.
I get it. Yeah.
All right, we'll send it over to Freak now for some extra Fizz puns.
See, but I like the laughs. I don't enjoy when people moan. That's the thing. They don't fuel me. All right, so we are going to be back into this one. Porpoise all righted in the mouse environment. We're good to go. XiaoWeiXiao, an extra 5 gold, banking it on the void tunnels of PorpoisePops so he can't get back. We're actually only level 6 on Slooshi and XiaoWeiXiao right now, so the roam could be from them. Everybody else is still looking to level up here.
Yep, now you're going to see him play extraordinarily safe. LeBlanc coming back in, always threatening the minion line, but XiaoWeiXiao should be able to CS pretty easily using his Mystic Shot. Really, though, I want to watch that top lane because they've switched back once again. It is going to be the heads-up Fizz versus Maokai, and right now, Cali's really far behind in CS. And the wave is pushing towards Impact. So Impact, he's really not worried about this matchup anymore, and it doesn't look like we're going to get to the point where Fizz becomes a scary split-pushing threat because he's had trouble gaining foothold really early on here.
Yep.
I don't think Impact is ever going to get to the point where he's too worried about this. Whereas Cali, if a Jarvan does come by, Maokai's great at setting up games. So we'll see how he fares up in the top lane. Plenty of sustain for both at the moment, though.
It'll be interesting. CaliTrolz on Fizz. Definitely can be a magician in escaping, so he can get out. Almost letting Rush die. Good guy, XiaoWeiXiao. So Rush not going to be ganking anytime soon, but all of his lanes are pushed, so it would actually be a nice time for him to get in. Porpoise back out with the farm alarm. Looks like he's going to be assisting Slooshi with something.
And nope, they cancel their gank. Yeah. So Slooshi, he was roaming up top, trying to make use of the early pressure with LeBlanc. However, runs into a pink ward. So even though he does get the pink ward clear for his troubles, no roam to speak of. And we return to regular laning phase. The other thing is that top lane ward just ran out for CaliTrolz up top. And currently, Rush is sitting up there. We'll see if they actually try and take advantage of it, though. Rek'Sai also hovering in the area. And this is pure game sense from Porpoise. They haven't seen Jarvan recently. He just knows that his laner is pushed up. He's going to support.
They still know. Porpoise is going to take a bit of a detour on this one. Rush misses the flag and drag.
But Porpoise unburrows not with an attack either.
Right.
So both of them missing their knockups there, and they agree. Gentleman's agreement. We're gonna circle back around here.
Next time. That was warm up.
Slooshi comes
getting
in,
it calibrated. That ward's still gonna see them coming up. So Slooshi now in his second roam. He is down in CS, so this means XiaoWeiXiao is gonna get even more higher in CS, 92 to 79. Also get some damage on the turret, and again, nothing comes out of that roam.
Yeah, 2 failed roams, and Jarvan didn't leave top lane. So after the failed gank, there's still pressure up on top for CaliTrolz here. Rush has actually snuck into the side brush here, trying to wrap around for a game. Twisted Advance to set it up. A little bit late.
Oh! He's gonna get it. One last one, gets the Q out. Can he hit it? No! CaliTrolz is gonna live. Porpoise with a nice save. True shot. Barrage just in front of CaliTrolz as he stops short.
Good guess right there. If Cali would have kept walking, he would have had a kill. But it's not to be had for XiaoWeiXiao. He's going to have to settle just for minions right now and continue to farm in that mid lane versus Slooshi. Stacking up his tier, trying to get to his mid-game spike. The Ezreal in the early game is all about just farming. So XiaoWeiXiao, perfect type of champion for him. Just
sounds like him.
Farm till he gets big Trinity Force boost and his Muramana completion. At which point, he goes Super Saiyan and transforms into a huge, huge threat.
I bet you XiaoWeiXiao got really sad when the junglers were like, please don't take Raptors. It's actually important now. We know that's the favorite one to take. We always see him going up and taking when they were Wraiths. But no longer. He finds his farm somewhere else. And somehow, still, top in the game, just over Maple Street here. Hasn't been doing too shabby in their lane. We did see that they pushed it earlier, fell behind a little bit, but he's caught up now in the 2v2. Void Rush just out to the bottom lane here for Porpoise. We may see him come down, but I think the disengage would just keep Impulse safe. You may give it a try, though. Here he comes.
Coming through the pink ward.
He's gone.
Anytime you want to work through the pink ward. Now, well, the reason we're seeing such passive play in the bottom line, we have both defensive supports down here for both duos, so neither of them really going to go aggressive unless you land a long-range bubble, which is fairly hard to set up. You're going to have to start trading auto attacks, maybe get that slow in. But especially with the Janna disengage, they don't want to try and force anything. And mid lane, of course, both of them have jumps, and XiaoWeiXiao has been playing really passively, so neither jungler with a lot of really good options to gank. The place where it would have been would be if Cali wasn't behind early game and he had been playing the Fizz really aggressively.
Rush doing a little bit better. He has actually kept up and farm in the jungle, even though he had a hard time in the early game. Still sight stoning it to keep the team up in vision. Impact returns to the top lane, still 91-71 here. And no rotation, but we are going to get Slooshi starting to head down towards the bottom lane. He feels like he can be able to make a play.
0 wards.
Yeah, 2 pink wards for them also gives a free channel.
0 wards on the side of Impulse here, so he runs right down through the river. Perfect positioning, and they're even calling in Rek'Sai. They could call all 5 members. If Rek'Sai drops a ward with his Sightstone, they could even teleport in and go 5 men bottom for a double kill. But They do not. They abort
They
mission.
just like they're going for walks together. That's all it is. Two to the top, one to the bottom.
It's because everybody on Impulse is playing so defensively right now. They're actually really coordinated in their defensive lane play. XiaoWeiXiao in the mid lane, of course, on Ezreal is going to play that way, but bottom lane is adapted to that as well. Maokai doing it just at his turret, so all of Impulse are really content to farm up until their AD carries get those Trinity forces.
I mean, XiaoWeiXiao is doing a really good job with the True Shot Barrage, just saying, nope, you have to come back with Slooshi. Just every time he gets it, he's cleared it down the mid lane, or shot at it at CaliTrolz once, but he's keeping that lane pushed, making sure that Slooshi has something to think about on these roams.
Yeah, this whole game is going according to Impulse's game plan here. They don't want mid-game skirmishes.
Yeah.
They're waiting until they can get those.
Well, teammate does.
Juicy Trinity forces. Yeah, and they've been trying. Constant roams, couple of ganks, and they got one kill for their troubles. Yeah. It was actually in the scenario where Impulse started it up. They haven't actually even started taking dragons either, because their top lane was behind.
Now pushing on the side of Impact in that top lane. Frozen here in the bottom. Oh, good dodge by Apollo. Also by maplestreet there. A little bit of a do-si-do by the AD carries. They trade the same amount of damage. The mana in favor of maplestreet.
I just can't believe how this bottom lane is getting away with so few wards. Now it was Rush to come in and actually get some vision for them in the river, but they've just been farming it up. And Adrian has yet to go back for any substantial buys.
We'll see if Porpoise comes flying out of the base. Yep, Void Rush is on. We see the True Shot Barrage actually go straight down the mid lane while that's happening. As XiaoWeiXiao clears once again. He actually used his Summoner heal very recently as well.
Yeah, defensively. Just protection against the all-in from LeBlanc. Yep. So Rush is the only person on Impulse playing aggressively right now. And he's really got to be careful. So 2 times in a row, it's Rush who makes the aggressive play, and 2 times in a row costs his team a kill. I feel like everybody except for him is on the same game plan this time around. They're all picking these passive lanes. They're trying to scale up.
That's true.
But Rush is still going really aggressive. And now Porpoise, because he knows Rush is dead, goes for a gank up top, makes Impact pay.
Nom. Another kill coming in here for Team A as they go from lane to lane. Porpoise has had fantastic pressure, and he is just snowballing his lanes very nicely. Good plays all around from Team 8. Slooshi gets himself another kill and definitely has pretty fantastic LeBlanc. It just looks like he's yo-yoing out all these skills without the cooldown, which means he's using them perfectly.
Now it's starting to snowball here. They get 2 turrets after that play. Rush is really a little bit of a liability. I think that he just is not on the same page with the passive style that they're going for this time around. 3 turrets going to get knocked down here for Team 8. And that's a huge spike in gold. If they all go down this close in time, that can be some very significant purchases on the side of Team 8. Right now, though, some pings towards the Dragon and bottom side. Doesn't look like they will get that last turret.
We know Rush to have that bit of a solo queue mentality, and he did somewhat fix that for the team, but being a tendency, it can still come back, and I think we're seeing a little bit here today. Maybe once the team groups, maybe once it's the all 5v5 fight and people are following him, it can come out for the better.
Well, the thing is weird because he's the shot caller, right, for this team.
That's
so
true.
He's the one making all the calls.
Maybe he's just signing off before everybody's on the same page.
This is a weird dragon for them to start as well. I mean, they did just get Trinity Force for Corki, but Team 8 are already calling down CaliTrolz. And they have a 2,000 gold advantage in the mid game. Is not to be trifled with. So Impulse there, it's also a weird guess from Impulse to think that maybe it wasn't warded because they haven't spent much of their money into the vision game around the dragon either. So yeah, easily scared off here by Team 8. Good move from Team 8 to rotate down. Now I would probably make the call for them to pressure that bottom turret since they already drew everyone down to the dragon area. But it looks like Rek'Sai at least is going to go back. We'll see if she ultimates out.
Well, Team 8, they have to feel safe about any movement they make. They have wards all over the map telling them where Impulse is right now. Porpoise out with the Void Rush, obviously to keep Slooshi safe in the mid lane. And that was already seen by the 3 wards up top. So teammate has a lot to work with right now.
All right. So CaliTrolz finally did get his Trinity Force, though. So he definitely does have a substantial amount of burst. Even though Impact's got Frozen Heart, he's still an easy target for that 2-man squad if Porpoise does stick around up top. It looks like he's even going to abandon stealing the red buff and go for the kill instead, because they can easily clean up that red buff afterwards. So Impact's way too far.
He throws himself into the fight, just trying to do as much damage as he can before he goes down. And he will eventually. The red buff should be teammates after this. Just playing some twisted advanced jokes on the rest of the team. Yeah, they give that one to Cali. Definitely should make him that much bigger. His Triforce is finished. Could be a pair of boots for him.
Now, the only thing is that Porpoise used Rek'Sai ultimate to get back onto the field. Looks like they're going to contest it 4v5 though.
Oh. Rush is able to get the dragon.
They leave him.
That's a Rush move. Got to give it to him. Thumbs up for him, saving the rest of the team, but he does go down valiantly.
So they snuck out the dragon though. Impulse were able to grab the dragon, even with Impact dead. And then they abandoned Rush inside the pit. All right, well, that also will mean that this outer turret goes down. So teammate have a really strong mid-game gold advantage here that they can pressure with. It's up to Impulse not to lose their calm though, especially since Russ is their shot caller. They can easily salvage this game, even though it looks really bad. They're down 5 kills. They're down all of their outer turrets. As long as they keep their cool, they can still climb back into this game. They've got a lot of power coming, still with the Ezreal Corki. Problem is that they have very little vision to work with. And Team 8 have been using their cross-map mobility really well with Porpoise.
Porpoise has been super omnipresent. 0 and 3. He's only missed out on 2 of the kills that happened. CaliTrolz back to the top. Doesn't look like he'll have Porpoise this time, but the team is easily farming right now, and that's something Impulse really shouldn't be letting them do. XiaoWeiXiao is up to 207, 209 CS on Apollo. He said that Apollo kind of waiting for a little bit more of a spike to use these rockets, able to push people off turrets, kind of like Sneaky was saying, that he can zone people off. Never getting a chance here against teammate as they are spreading Impulse thin around the map. Porpoise Void rushes to the top side. He's been putting a lot of pressure here, making sure it's safe for CaliTrolz, and he can also be there for Slooshi.
Impact is the most vulnerable on the map right now for Impulse because he doesn't have a ward towards the tri-bush area. So you can see he's really hesitating to even push up this far, as he should be. Very worried about a repeat gank from Porpoise. All that Impulse have to do is play their team fight more defensively, though. They can definitely get into trouble if Impact tries to play aggressively and goes to initiate. But if he just sits back and peels for these double AD carries, it's going to be fairly difficult for Team 8 to get into that back line. They don't have great reliable hard CC. Porpoise, they would pretty much just be relying on his flash unburrow.
CaliTrolz playing dangerous here, but he knows the team is also on his back, so a call coming from him will pull Porpoise and Slooshi up towards the top side of the map.
Invading the jungle here.
Adrian gets caught by the second ethereal chain, and that's going to be him going down. The quick kill. He doesn't actually tried to ult at the end, but it didn't even work. They're going to go on Impact now. That's going to be another kill for Slooshi. He locks it down with the chain kill for number 2. Nicely done. 7-0 now for Team 8.
Yeah, Team 8, really good job, you know, pressing this advantage. They have a huge, huge gold advantage right now, especially with all their outer turrets down. They get vision inside that red buff jungle, catch somebody as they're moving across.
Ooh,
dive.
The turrets are starting to not matter anymore. Kobe, one last attack. CaliTrolz should be able to get into range. He should just slip, slide, and take down Rush. That's another turret for them as well, so this is a nice spike in gold.
Yeah, and this is exactly what Impulse did not want to happen. The Assassins, Fizz and LeBlanc getting really fed. Another good ultimate from Porpoise.
Wasn't this guy just top lane? He is everywhere. Dodo could go down. XiaoWeiXiao finds himself a kill quickly on a roaming Dodo, and actually able to get out alive. Apollo saves himself some trouble.
Okay, this is the hope for Impulse. They really, really have to stop bleeding kills because they've been giving up second-tier turrets, which are the ones that they should be hugging. XiaoWeiXiao. Oh, what a flash there from Slooshi.
Wow, Slooshi reading that call, walking right out of the channel range of the True Shot Barrage, making it look easy, but it is not. They are going to pick up more kills. Adrian, didn't he just get back on the map? Team 8 is going hard right now.
Yeah, the Assassin's getting fed and playing that chaotic spread out game. This is exactly what Team 8 want. Take advantage of the opened up map after all these turrets have gone down. And even Ezreal hitting his Mega Spike, biggest power point in the game when his Mermana transforms and he's got Trinity Force. Only able to grab a support kill there, and Slooshi comes in to assassinate him with a great flash, anticipating the jump over from XiaoWeiXiao. Teammate really want to keep this snowball going. Both of the assassins at this point, though, have to start being a little bit careful about giving up bounties, especially CaliTrolz. He doesn't want to give away any giant sums of gold. If they keep up the game as now, and they continue to spread out the map and just pick members of Impulse off, then they can easily
just flash again.
End out this game. Whoop, and there's the combo. Dodging the Ezreal ultimate as well.
Another one.
Another pick.
The replay into the real thing. Slooshi and the team coming up. Dodo takes that one. The teleport's going to be right on the team, but Impact stops it actually, and he walks into the fight. They must have called him off. It seems like it would have been good with the ultimate on, but they do not decide to take it 20 seconds on to Dragon, and that's a nice time to be taking Rush down.
Hey, fun to watch. Assassin's fed, and they get another pick here.
We said it would be a scary thing if what Impulse could fall into, and it's when Slooshi, when CaliTrolz get fed, that means you just have 80 carries to be taken out and popped off the map instantly.
Yep.
So the Dragon spawning up. Seems like he wants to party. Nobody's going to be there.
Yeah, teammate, they don't have to rush into this one. They can easily go back to base and heal up and get that vision down, because it's really dangerous, as we've seen for Impulse, to walk through the jungle. Anybody gets picked off, they immediately are executed. They do have a decent amount of poke. If they're able to set up a secure 5-on-5 and land some poke before the fight starts out and have their front line played. Whoa! All right, if they're just going to turtle under turrets, then teammate are going to jump on Baron here.
Well, look at, there's almost zero vision on the top side. Actually, there is zero vision here for Impulse. They have everything towards the bottom of Pink Ward, all the way down
coming in for a hero steal.
Rush, could he make it happen? No, he cannot, and he's gonna pay for it with his life. A few rockets from the outside, and some breadcrumbs thrown in from the rest of Impulse, but Baron goes over to Team 8, and now they can do pretty much anything they want, and they could before.
Yeah, it's a huge key for them, because the Assassin teams usually have trouble knocking down the later stages of turrets, but they are so far ahead, and with Baron buff, they can just brute force, bully Impulse off of those later turrets and shove in now.
It's like Freak was saying, you don't usually poke a turret down, you poke down the team that's around the turret, and that's exactly what Team 8 can do here. Not really poke, they're going to be sieging and crushing you down immediately. So Impulse has to be very aware of their positioning as they approach these fights, or even approach guarding their own objectives. 28 minutes coming up on the clock. 4 turrets here for Team 8. They have 7 more to drop on the map. They don't have to do all of it. Maybe down the mid lane, who knows? We'll find out. Choose your own adventure book coming up. It's 12-2 right now on the kill board. Looks like CaliTrolz will be able to save this turret. Teammate, they've only lost that bottom lane, so with their mid lane still being up, they have so much map control. They're just working at pushing the wards forward constantly and guarding them.
Yep, well, with the Assassins, what you want to do is split push when you have Baron buff, so you can get an extra line of Baroned up minions, because nobody can 1-versus-1 Cali, and he can bring a lot of pressure up to the top side. It looks like Rek'Sai trying to get some vision for him to get the split push going deep inside the jungle. So they can push 2 lanes in and force Impulse to make a choice.
Right now, Porpoise feels strong enough to just
looks
toy
like they might
with
dive. XiaoWeiXiao showed himself in the bottom lane.
That's exactly what we saw last game with Mash showing himself off on the side. It gave the team, played Cloud9, enough to engage on a second-tier turret. Almost seeing the same thing pan out here. XiaoWeiXiao will be able to get back in time. True Shot Barrage to clear the bottom wave. He just used it. So he'll be auto-attacking the heck, or rather casting spells on these minions to get them back up quick.
If they go when Maokai's not here.
A little back and forth. CaliTrolz trying to deter the team and grab their attention there on the backside of the turret. maplestreet able to get shots on. Slooshi in and out. Jump the waters onto Apollo. He's forced out. It's not going to do a whole lot of damage if Cali can't follow up, but it's enough for them to take the turret and gain control of that inner area of TIP.
Sniper shot through everyone to land the fish. Now, since the rework, it's not going to be a huge damage with the ultimate.
Right.
However, Slooshi constantly with the combos.
Got to be careful, though. He could get himself taken down. Obviously, they're going to go crazy. Everyone goes crazy for Clone, but Slooshi's on the other side of the wall. He's safe. Almost getting rushed. He wanted the double distortion there, wanted to play with Porpoise. They could get themselves into a scary situation here. They're going a little too hard, but with a bit of safety on the edge, if you will.
Yeah.
They do stay safe.
Thing here is that Impulse don't really have a lot of tools to force their comeback. They are not the ones who get to decide if they come back now. They have to play defensively and hope that teammate make a mistake, and then they can come back.
Well, a few mistakes could probably be made at this point by teammate. Right now, they're looking to not make any. maplestreet and Dodo, power and numbers. There's that split push going down by Slooshi, or at least the wave clear before he rejoins with the team around River.
12-2. 5 turrets to 1.
Yeah.
And they're still going to give up position on the mid turret, so I'd say small win for Impulse. One step on their road back to a comeback.
Oh, man.
Cali's got to be careful not to overextend here.
A little bit. CaliTrolz bringing out those tendencies of his own, but the team's able to come back up and help out. I figured one of these would be a teleport to a ward behind them, and they were going to pinch the fight in, but they decided to take it face-to-face, and Impulse is able to retreat from that one.
Yeah, extra speed from Janna. Front line playing defensively and trying to peel exactly as they should. Good disengage there from Impulse, and teammate just not in position to catch that one. So they're able to strike and get one extra turret down for a little bit more global gold to get back in this.
Yeah.
But still going to be a very, very rough defense here for Impulse.
Apollo and XiaoWeiXiao have finished up their Bloodthirsters to stay a little bit healthier in these fights. Hopefully they don't get burst out immediately now that they have a bit of a shield to work with. We're also seeing that XiaoWeiXiao's blue is being consistently stolen here, which is going to hurt his damage quite a bit in these fights.
Yeah, Slooshi constantly getting blue, using it to pull off LeBlanc combos under turret, harassing down either of the AD carries. And they have to be careful of that as well, because Maple on the Graves can follow up with some long-range burst damage, or Cali can dive a turret, and hop back out. So every time Slooshi goes in for a combo, the AD carries have to be really careful, and you might see them popping their heals really, really quickly in reaction to one of those combos, because they do not want to get 100%ed with the Graves follow-up. Whoa!
Ooh, a little too far back, but that's a huge pop there going on to Slooshi. He gets taken down, not necessarily a shutdown because he was killed before, but the rest of the team has to be careful for the damage. That's going to be maplestreet as well. Rush goes in hard, but can the team follow? Apollo coming in, we see him from the channel of the jungle, but will he be able to get there in time? Porpoise is very big, and we're now seeing teammate have to run from this fight. CaliTrolz dives in. Dodo's going to go down. Cali will as well. Who will be the focus of getting these kills, though? It'd be great to have them on Apollo, but I don't know if they're going to be able to finish anymore. Teammate saves two of their members, but that was a scary situation to be seeing from them this far ahead in the game.
Yeah, that's why we keep cautioning against making mistakes against this team that's got their double Trinity forces. They're Manamune transformed already. You can see how much ridiculous damage XiaoWeiXiao is putting out right now. Bloodthirster for both of those AD carries as well. So Corki and Ezreal are turning almost into ranged bruisers here with these very tanky Trinity Force and Bloodthirster combos. And that was just Slooshi going for another LeBlanc combo.
A little too sure of themselves.
When Maokai is there for the peel. This is the defensive Maokai that we were looking for. Even though he does go down, XiaoWeiXiao doesn't let them get away with this. He's on his 3 items. Huge, huge burst. And Rush finally gets to make the aggressive play, finishing off the dunk. Once again, this is only one of their AD carries. They also have Apollo coming back in this whole time. So he's able to flash forward in this fight because the front line is non-existent.
Well, We'll see what Impulse can do with just a bit of their squad if organized correctly in these fights. Teammate quickly out to Baron to make sure that Impulse doesn't get any ground on that as well. If they can start getting these turrets down, Impulse, they do see a lot of gold in their eyes here with those outer turrets and the one up top. So if they get that, it could be a big spike for them still.
Yeah. It's almost time to start hyping up, you know, comeback potential here for Impulse.
Yeah, Apollo's got the Wrath Elixir. He's ready. He wants it. They're going for endgame stuff.
Yeah. Armor stacking is a pretty big worry for Impulse. Porpoise well on his way. Already got a Randuin's completed. See if he does go soon.
Porpoise diving into the entire team, thinking the Nami ult maybe would be closer. Rush, Janna. He gets bubbled in. A great hit from Dodo, and they start to clean up. CaliTrolz gets the first one. He gets himself out, but no, he goes down to the hands of Apollo, and now teammate again. Quick drawn, flashing out, dip, dodging, doing everything they can, but Impulse has their number. Slooshi comes in and completely zeroes out Apollo. Do they have enough damage to follow up again? Dodo waiting on cooldowns, Slooshi waiting on cooldowns as well, and they're gonna have to head for the hills as Impulse is gonna head for Baron.
Ooh, yeah. XiaoWeiXiao didn't want to go for the last auto attack onto Dodo because he wasn't quite sure if Slooshi's cooldowns were back up and didn't want to get bursted, but that was very close to Impulse once again coming out huge victors in the fight. The double AD carries with their Trinity Force and Bloodthirster.
Yeah.
Really, really difficult to take down. Look at the initiation
so
here.
Far ahead.
Now, exactly. He's tanking this whole time with very little damage being done. Maple already blew his full combo. Then it's Rush that jumps in, and he's actually the target for Slooshi, the initial target. Mainly, it's just everybody worrying who Slooshi's next target is. LeBlanc right now is pretty much the biggest threat on Team 8. And if they work around the LeBlanc, who almost died there in the exchange, then Impulse, they're clawing their way right back into this one. On the back of that Corki and Ezreal.
This is actually where it becomes hard too for Team 8 because you start to hesitate on the fights you want to take. And fights almost become harder. When that starts to happen, things really turn chaotic.
Slooshi does have his Zhonya's now, so he can play, he can go for those aggressive assassinations,
kind of pause the
which
fight.
is key, because he has to be the one to finish off one of those AD carries. maplestreet, we saw there on the outside trying to help out, but after he blew his Graves combo, wasn't able to get much. He does get sort of outranged by the Mystic Shot and missile spam for both those ADs.
Actually pretty risky here with the teleport being down from CaliTrolz. They're kind of playing with fire at this point. But Impulse does not know that. They don't have the window on his timer, so they're easily able to split these lanes without worry and telling the team if anything happens, kite the fight. Yeah. Looks like they'll stay safe.
Also, the other big thing to keep track of is the exhaust on Impulse. Adrian has both summoners available right now, and it's his job to keep both of those AD carries alive. So the assassination from Cali and Slooshi becomes that much more important.
No, dodging out, nobody getting wet socks on that one, but Adrian is very, very low using ultimate and both summoners, so that exhaust we were just talking about is now unavailable for them to use in these fights.
It's going to be a pretty big cooldown. Vision also is going to be extremely important for Impulse to try and fight over here. As once again, they don't want to get caught out inside their own jungle.
I don't think they have a choice. Porpoise flanking from one side, Cali from the other. And Impulse is actually forced to run the opposite direction of their base just to get to safety. Rush finally finds himself heading towards home, and Impact can finally meet him. The bubble missing from Dodo as Impact Twisted advances in. Does Team 8 want this fight? They're going to have to start walking into the poke, and it may be too much. XiaoWeiXiao is getting off a lot of damage. maplestreet has been hit up hard here, and Impulse, again, fend off the lane.
And notice how we end the fights always. The 2 AD carries from Impulse on the front line.
Yeah.
Looks like they don't want to let him get away either. XiaoWeiXiao and Adrian might even try to 3 versus 5 this.
Whoa!
That's what XiaoWeiXiao was thinking.
That was
maybe a Banshees for the last item.
That was his tribute to DFG.
All right, looks like the Baron once again for Team 8 though. This is their key to pressing in on the last outer turrets, but they cannot because Rush shows up.
Getting explosive, Kobe.
Yeah, so well, it looks like he got a longsword, so he's not going for Banshee's Veil for the last item here for XiaoWeiXiao.
Oh, yeah.
What is he going to turn that longsword into? feel like Banshees takes out the one way that they lose this game, which is combos from LeBlanc, though. They do have a Mikhail's. Adrian's been able to get Mikhail's, so in addition to the exhaust, he does now have other options, but the all-important exhaust timer still long ways from up.
Going to see what the next move is. Obviously, Dragon's only going to be second for teammate, third for TIP. I don't think that's going to draw too much attention from everybody with the Baron being up for now. That teleport again for CaliTrolz is down, playing with a bit of fire here as he will not be able to get with the team. And that could have been a bait there, but Slooshi may have baited himself. Fast fingers coming in from top lane on Impact. Beautiful hit on the twisted advance from Maokai. A definite error there by teammate.
Yeah, he's trying really hard to win the game for his team by himself. And that is not the way they're going to pull this off. Impulse just stuck together. They keep their front line playing defensively, peeling for their double AD carries, punishing LeBlanc for every exchange he goes for. Now the Baron for them, and they should be able to push in for an entire victory. With the strength of these AD carries, Impulse may very well shove all the way into the base with this Baron buff. First, they want to clean up Dragon to get the neutral objectives off the field.
Yep.
But I expect them to very quickly return to the field and shove down one of the lanes. They could go in the top lane and pick up a bunch of turrets for a huge amount of global gold for the team.
Just what a fantastic
Slooshi
job
again,
so far.
He keeps going for these assassinations while Impact is in the area. And Impact with some really good twisted advances.
Yeah.
Just locking them up. Easy execution there for the rest of the team.
Quick fingers, man.
Team Impulse losing the team part of the name. Or Team 8.
Yeah, yeah.
Excuse me. Slooshi going solo mode here.
Yeah, we saw a very, very safe early game from them, and that's somewhat fallen to the wayside with late game decision making. Obviously, you want to make plays on your assassin, but you can't discredit the ability of the other team to take you out.
The fame has gone to his head, Riv.
Yeah.
He got on the telestrator last week.
I got her again.
Once
I'm going to win the game.
Once more big plays. Feeding people to Krugs.
You know, I was going to say it, and I should have, but he's building a Hex Drinker. I figured he may want to try to survive a little bit of that burst with XiaoWeiXiao's longsword into the Hex.
That's what the longsword is. So it's not quite the Banshees. He's going the little bit more offensive route.
That could be a maw by the end of the game if he still has enough time to build it up. And it looks like teammate's going to try to dictate a little bit of a mid push here to at least get some of the map freed up. They have a lot of clearing and wardage to do. This used to be all of their vision, but now they own none of it.
Yeah. Well, the team fight from Team 8 now gets really, really difficult because the front line from Impulse is really imposing. Both of these assassins are going to have a very difficult time working towards the back line. And even if they get there, there's a Janna. So Impulse with a much, much more straightforward team comp, really easy to execute in the 5 versus 5, whereas Teammate are going to have to pull out some crazy shenanigans with some flank moves or splitting up the team to isolate people. Doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon.
Whoa! That was a flash and a half. Dodo trying to stay safe on that one, figuring Impulse was going to get a little antsy and dive the turret. CaliTrolz ahead of this one. And he's just clearing the wave because Impulse is headed top. They get pretty much whatever they want now. And after having control of the game all early game, Impulse has weathered the storm and they now find themselves with the advantage. Still down 3,000 gold, might I add. But they are taking everything they want, and Impact's going to go in for this. A good bit of damage on the front end, but that's exactly what the competition of Teammate does. After that, they have to wait for the cooldowns, and that means they're running for the base.
Yeah, they poured everything into trying to kill the tank, though, and Impact has teleport, so this could very well be the end of the game. Impact probably going to teleport back in and finish.
2-shot from the barrage going over, hitting Slooshi nicely. And Dodo, they're going to be back to the fountain to get a little bit of heal. One inhibitor going down there, but it's not going to be long for the other ones. XiaoWeiXiao, a little sun in his eyes there. Couldn't get over the wall.
Yep, looks like they want to just collect everything. We mentioned all the turrets up top that they could take. They took mid ones as well. Such a rewarding push for Impulse 28 seconds, can they finish?
A rewarding game as well. They waited for so long for this to be able to happen, scaling slowly, getting their Triforces ready, and they finally found the fights they needed over Team 8. A few errors, however, from Team 8 did allow this to happen. Going a little too hard in that late game has cost them a lot of ground here.
It's always something you have to keep in the back of your head when you're playing the double assassin team. If you make those missteps in the mid-game, it's going to be very difficult. End game 5 versus 5, not a really opposing front line here to work with, so hard job for Slooshi and Cali.
Well, now could be the time, Kobe. The vision has pretty much just faded away on the map for both teams. If Team 8 can get their pick at this point, it'd probably be the best chance.
That's a good point. You know, after an extended push like that, where Impulse are in the lanes for so long, taking down all these turrets, the one hope is that there are pockets where their wards have run out on the map, and if Team 8 could sneak into one of those pockets of Fog of War, maybe catch somebody out to try and get a chain reaction going and get back in the game. But not going to be the case this time around. No death bushes set up here.
Too much lane clearing needed to be done. Impulse had a very nice map coverage, or full map coverage, I should say, after that push. Top, mid, and bottom have now been resolved by Team 8. They're up to at least River, which gives them some breathing room here to work with. They still have to be very careful. They do not want to take a full-on fight head-on. They want to take it from the side. They want to be able to flank, and this might be the chance.
They have to be careful, though. We saw what happened last time. CaliTrolz tried to flank around the side, and they weren't ready for the full-on engage, and he just got 5 versus 1. Here goes Porpoise, though.
Porpoise goes in. Cali will be from the side here, and they see him with wards. They turn right over to Cali, and they're able to put down quite a bit of damage. Apollo finishes him off. Porpoise and the rest of the team are just about equal health as they're all trying to find solace under the turret. That about to fall down as well, and Team 8 now once again runs for their base. Impulse can just not be stopped, even behind. Now actually ahead in gold, 2,000.
Yep, and I really like the team comps from Impulse the last 2 games that they've played, even last week. This one, you know, really working with a double AD that actually works mid-game, double Trinity Force Spike, with a really good peeling front line and Janna disengage. So they got so many parts that came together that just really make Assassin's jobs very difficult.
Right.
Plus, with both of those AD carries building Bloodthirsters on top of their Trinity Forces, hard targets just in general. So number 4.
So Impulse now need to just sure up a bit of the 7 deaths that Rush gets the early part of the game.
The early game, they definitely could have played more clean.
A little more. Make it squeaky clean. Maybe a few deaths less. Rush getting himself to a few sticky situations, but overall, he was able to right those wrongs, keep himself safe. Now 2, 7, and 6, it doesn't look pretty, but he's got enough items to really be helping the team in these engages. Baron is now alive. That's why we're seeing so much hustle and bustle here on the top part of the river, and we're about to get a fight, most likely. I think Impulse could force this one easily just with pokes.
Yeah.
Teammate won't be able to do anything.
They have a really hard time here, Teammate, because they have 2 inhibitors down, so the longer they stay out of the base, the more ground they lose, and Impulse can't decide which way to go.
Righteous Glory. And
back to Baron it is. Let's try to burn it down.
They use Righteous Glory and Talisman of Ascension at the same time, just kind of like a brute force tactic. Porpoise, can he get close enough? He's locked in. The Baron goes over to XiaoWeiXiao on a Mystic shot. And they got to be able to take down Apollo. Maplestreet right to the back of the pit. 2 kills coming in for CaliTrolz. Was the Baron the wrong idea here for Impulse, as Team 8 could easily take down a turret without tanky? They are going into this.
The good thing for Impulse is that they got Baron, though. It looks like Rush is going to sneak around to try and counter push. With the inhibitors down, Teammate cannot get inside and end the game because they would lose the base to Rush.
Right.
Here goes Rush with the Baroned up super minions. Teammate straight up the middle. Could this be a 5 versus 1 split?
No, Rush, no back! Oh, he's gonna back. He just cleared the wave. The super minions are now regular minions. They're going to lose an inhibitor. They're going to try to end. They're going so hard. CaliTrolz, they had that Triforce on him. He can still do some damage to the turret. Rush goes in. He has come back to try as the new challenger, but he gets pushed off. He may have done enough, however. That's a necessary down going for maplestreet.
Game over!
The next one, it's gonna be game over. Team 8 pull the trigger, and they take down Impulse.